Devin Haney scores a bad boy for life 7th round knockout over Antonio Moran last Saturday in USA, Maryland. If you don't know Devin Haney, get to know him. He's a prospect who may go on to great things. He has 22 fights, 14 KOs, undefeated, and check this, only 20 years old. Yes, only 20. So lots of potential in this young man. He fought Antonio Moran, someone who I don't know a lot about. Moran has 24 fights and 3 defeats. Looking at the first round, Devin Haney was landing his jab, and his right hand is very accurate, landing his right hand also, and throwing a lot of body shots. When he's throwing his body shots, he puts lots of energy and lots of grit into it. And come the second round, that appeared to have an effect on Moran because his body language shows someone who's a bit more tentative and nervous and didn't know what to do in regards to attacking Haney. While on the opposite scale, Haney was a lot more relaxed in the second round. His left hand was low, and he was throwing lead left uppercuts and lead left hooks at will. If you're looking at Haney from a technical point of view, what I like about him is, his left jab is nice. His right hand is very accurate, and when he's throwing his body shots, he puts everything into it, and he's very competitive, almost like he wants to win every single exchange. Defensively, what I like about him is he only shows you his left shoulder. He hides his right shoulder, so his body's a small target, which you can hardly see. And when Moran was throwing his left hook, Haney would just roll and deflect that blow, and sometimes when he's rolling, he'd turn that roll into a right hand and counter Moran, so causing lots of problems for Moran and just winning almost every single round. Coming on to the 5th round, Devin Haney's having his own way. However, Moran is very tough because he's hanging in there, taking a lot of licks. Devin Haney throws a wicked right hook to the body. Moran goes down. Looks like a wicked shot. Upon reflection, looking at the replay, the feet may have got tangled. But either way, that was a knockdown. And what I like about that is once Moran got back up, rather than Haney head hunting and just trying to take his head off, he just went back to the body, worked his body to weaken him, almost like you're seasoning that meat before you cook it, So he's marinating his body shots with Moran's ribs. Moran, fair play to him, tough kid. He was there until the 7th round. In the 7th round, that's when the KO came. Devin Haney was using his jab a lot more in this round, and the KO was basically a low left jab to the chest rather than to the face of the chest to bring Moran's eye vision down, and then a looping overhand right to Moran's chin, and he was flat out. He wasn't getting up, and that was the end of the fight. In the end of the fight, in the post-interview, Haney said that my dad is his trainer, so his dad trains him. My dad has told me in the past that when I get someone hurt, always go to the body. Great advice. And Eddie Hearn, who now promotes Devin Haney, so this is Haney's first time being promoted by Matchroom, Eddie Hearn. He said, this kid's got a great future, and if he was from the UK, he'd be a superstar, and we'd be all over him. And that's very true, because in the UK, we hold our superstars, we hold our athletes dearly, like Anthony Joshua, Frank Bruno, Ricky Hatton, to name a few. So Haney fights on the DAZN network. So this is his first time on the DAZN network. DAZN is a streaming app. So unlike a normal TV channel, DAZN is an app that you have on your phone and your tablet, and you watch fights on there. DAZN are new to the boxing marketplace, and they've recently signed top fighters like Anthony Joshua, Golovkin, Canelo Alvarez, Daniel Jacobs, and most of the Matchroom fighters from the UK fight on DAZN as well. DAZN are new competition to broadcasting networks like ESPN and Showtime. So when boxers reach the pinnacle of their sport, they become pay-per-view fighters, and networks like Showtime or HBO would charge $75 to $100 for one particular pay-per-view event, which you'd have to shell out for. However, with DAZN, what we can do now, or what DAZN do now, is you just pay a fee of around $9.99 a month, and all the top fights are on there. So regardless of whether there's a fight in, there's 3 fights in the month of May, that $9.99 gets you all those fights. So obviously that's for the consumer to decide what's best, but I believe that DAZN are trying to be innovative by looking at new ways that boxing fans will want to watch fights and make it cheap for them as well. So that's DAZN. Also, another interesting fact about Devin Haney is that he's a promoter. So he was registered as a promoter at the age of 19. This is what Sky Sports commentary said during the fight. So as a co-promoter, that means that he has not just a fighter's revenue, but a promoter's revenue as well. So he co-promotes himself, and Eddie Hearn from Matchroom promotes him as well. In the fight prior to this fight, Devin Haney was on the Showtime network. I'm not sure how many fights, but he's been on Showtime for a long time.
And he's actually got a really good video on YouTube called A Day in Camp. It's done by Showtime, so you can find it if you search for it. And it shows you how Devin Haney trains. He trains like how he fights, you know, all action, jabbing, loads of body shots, very competitive. His dad trains him. His dad's called Bill Haney. And Devin Haney said himself that he uses a lot of advanced sports science. So he works with this company called Snack, and they do a lot of stuff like, I don't know if you've heard of hyperbaric chambers. So he will sit in a hyperbaric chamber for maybe 2.5 hours after training, and that helps to recover your body, ease wounds, and enhance your immune system, and also pump more oxygen in the lungs, which makes your fitness more effective. So I guess after a hard workout, to go into a hyperbaric chamber, it's going to help you recover. The basketball player LeBron James and lots of footballers who have lots of money, I'm assuming, they use hyperbaric chambers as well. So if you're a fitness geek, Google it. You also see him like doing shadow boxing in an altitude tent. So some boxers now and from previous eras, they go to a place called Big Bear in the mountains in California. I think it's California, and it's very high altitude, and it's meant to increase your fitness. And I guess from what I can see, what Devin Haney is doing or what Snack is doing is they're saying, rather than go up to the altitude, you can come here on sea level, and we've got all that stuff indoors for you. So very interesting. On the documentary, you'll see Victor Conte runs the Snack Center. So if any of you guys are into Olympic sprinting, you'll know that Victor Conte was I'm not sure his exact title, but he was like a nutritionist, sports science advisor to the Olympic team in the Sydney 2000. And he went to jail for something called the Balco scandal, which is when he gave athletes undetectable drugs so they could sort of like be more effective in the run times and whatnot. So Marion Jones, Olympic sprinter, Tim Montgomery as well, they were working with Victor Conte, and they were stripped of their medals and their times. Also Dwayne Chambers, a 100-meter sprinter from the UK, was stripped as well. So, you know, it may seem controversial for Victor Conte to be working with Devin Haney. Also, if you're into baseball, Barry Bonds worked with Victor Conte as well. I'm not sure if he was stripped. And Sugar Shane Mosley as well. He wasn't stripped. I think it's just like an alleged rumour that he worked with Victor Conte, and he said that the stuff that Conte was giving me, I didn't know was illegal. And Victor Conte at the time, this is years ago, said, well, I'm sure he knew because he was injecting it into himself. But I don't think that went to court. I think they settled that out of court. So looking at current fighters Victor Conte works with, you've got Nonito Donaire. He's worked with him. I think he might still work with him. He's worked with Andre Berto as well. I can't think of any other fighters, but he's respected now in the industry. He's basically turned his leaf after his time in prison. It's only about 4 months, and he now works with athletic commissions and boxing commissions and advises them on how to test fighters so they can find loopholes around the system to be taking undetectable drugs and, you know, recovering faster and winning fights. So Conte runs a Snack Center, and that video is on YouTube. And what I'll do as well is I'll do a video on the Balco scandal and Victor Conte, and show you how it links to drugs in boxing. I'm not an expert in drugs, but I find it interesting that you know, people use nutrition and sometimes they want to cheat to get the best result. Back to Devin Haney. In the Ring magazine, he's ranked number 8 in the lightweight division. Number 1 is Lomachenko. Lomachenko is regarded as the pound for pound best fighter in the world by many boxing experts. And also Luke Campbell from the UK is number 5 in that division. Luke Campbell is on DAZN and promoted by Eddie Hearn Matchroom. So I guess that would be like a logical fight to make. Would be Luke Campbell versus Devin Haney. After the fight, Eddie Hearn, you know, in the post-fight interview, he had said that Devin Haney and his team have instructed Eddie Hearn to get him over top fights now. So people like Lomachenko, Campbell, what's the guy in the weight class below? The guy that Mayweather promotes. I can't think of his name. I'll come back to him. But Mickey Garcia, who just fought at 147 pounds and lost, he can possibly come back down to 135 or 140 pounds. So there's lots of big fights out there. And I guess when he fights the higher caliber fighters, we'll see if he can carry that same skill base that he showed against Anthony Moran against those fighters. Because these fighters will test him, and they'll see if he's got that intestinal fortitude to dig it out in the trenches. So yeah, that's Devin Haney. If you like this video, please like it, share, subscribe to Mark Sterling Loves Boxing. Let your friends know as well that we're promoting boxing regular on here, and hit the bell for notifications. All right, have a good day. Bless you. Bye bye.